Welcome to another edition of In Conversation. And today's guest, as you can see there, is none other than Paulie Z here from the resurrected ZO2. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate being here, and I like the fact that you used the word resurrected. It's a good, it's very biblical. Reformed, some people say reformed or whatever. You're like you go old school, man. Epic words.
Yeah, so man, I was that's two words I never thought never thought I'd hear these words that ZO2 is back, but glad to see that you brought back the band and tell us about how you guys decided to go ahead and bring it all back.
Well, it started actually with Mark Mendoza from Twisted Sister. I give him all the credit because he's the one who sparked the idea. Um, because he was he was a friend and a supporter of ZO2 from back in the day, still is. And he was doing a bunch of stuff for the David Z Foundation, the nonprofit I started in memory of my brother. And so, we were in contact over the last few years, like he was contributing various videos and testimonials, all that kind of stuff. And he had just said, because he saw I was doing a bunch of benefit shows and jams, and he said, "Listen, if you ever want to do a ZO2 set with Joey, to raise money, like just a special like one off, I'd be, I'd be down to do it with you guys." And I'm like, "Really?" Just because I'm thinking like, but you're like a big mega rock star. We're a bunch of schmucks from Brooklyn. Why would you want to play with us? No, but he was like, "No, listen, seriously, I love the music. I really love the band, and it's my kind of music. I think it would be fun. So just something to think about." So he said it like that. I was like, okay. I Prior to that, I never thought ZO2 would play, that I would play those songs live again. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you hear it in the background, my 4 month old.
Ah,
Can you hear
congrats.
it? I
Yeah.
don't know if you can hear it squeaking or squeaking back there. Yeah. And then I just thought about it. I said that could be cool, and that would probably bring out a lot of people, especially in New York. I did it on my birthday jam in New York City right before, it was a week before COVID hit and the lockdown happened. So, and I just thought, a lot of people would love to see that. It would probably help raise more money. It would be fun. And we did. And then people loved it. And Joey and I, our chemistry was there. Like it was almost like we never stopped. Um, Mark did a great job, and obviously he doesn't sing. He doesn't which is why we eventually wound up going with Sean McNabb, because when we decided we wanted to continue, we thought about it. And we're like, okay, well then we need someone who can sing, and also I specifically wanted someone who lived in LA that I can meet with and work with, because the parts are tricky, and there was a chemistry that David and I had that only two biological brothers can have, right?
Hmm.
So I really wanted someone that I can just go over to the house, they can come here and we can really work on it. And that's how Sean McNabb got the gig. I had been playing with him here in LA a lot with Ultimate Jam Night, which is a jam that I used to host and produce at the Whiskey Go Go. And he just, he was a perfect fit. So Mark started the ball rolling, and he kind of got dusted off the cobwebs, planted the seed, and then we decided to go, and here we are with Sean.
Yeah, Sean's a great guy, a great bassist. He's played with so many people over the years, and I still consider his time in Great White as probably the best Great White lineup when he was in the band. Um, just a great player overall there.
Yeah.
So I was,
And and playing wise, playing is just one aspect. Like David, you know, um, David was, he was a pretty special human, all around. It was hard, big shoes to fill, very hard. And so the playing is one aspect, but then again, you need the vocals, right? So
you know,
not every bass player. I know a lot of great bass players. Oh, there's the Zoom putting up buttons that I didn't put up. You need someone who can sing. And there's a look. David had a very, a certain look. We have a look, Joey and I, right? There's a kind of vibe, stage presence, personality. We're kind of goofy. We have a total New York kind of, if you've seen the TV show Z Rock, we have that. That's how
mhm.
we are in real life. So there's a lot of, boxes that needed to be checked for someone to really take on that role. And Sean had them all. It's just like it was really serendipitous, I guess would be the word. Unless you have a better biblical word to use. You seem to be.
I don't know on that
No?
one, but
Okay. So we'll go with serendipitous.
okay. All right, so take us back through beginning there. How did you guys first come up meeting Joey Casada? How did it all, where you guys first started and formed the band? How did you meet him at first?
Well, I put an ad out in the paper for a Frank Stallone lookalike, and he answered the ad, and then that was no, actually, what happened was Joey and I were in a band called Kiss Nation, a Kiss tribute band in New York, out of New York. One of the bigger, or I'd say one of the biggest Kiss tribute bands that that was out there at the time, and we just became friends from that, and just again musically connected. There was a chemistry there that was undeniable. And David and I had a band that we were working on that was original material, but the drummer that we had, who was a longtime friend of ours, he just decided to go focus on his career, and he had to make a choice whether he was going to go do what he was getting his degree for or music. It was like you can't really do both if the other two people are full on music. David and I were like, we're going to be rock stars. That's it. There's nothing else. There is nothing else. So he just bowed out, gracefully, and then we had to find someone. So I asked Joey, I was like, would you be interested in jamming with my brother? He didn't know my brother at the time. We have an original band, it's a trio, blah, blah, blah. He said, yeah, why not? And that was it. It was magic, I mean, again, not just the drumming. I mean, Joey's probably one of the best drummers, and I hate to give him compliments. It drives me crazy. We hate to compliment each other. I don't want to give him any compliments, but he is one of the best drummers I've ever played with, and I've played with lots of drummers, like famous drummers and non-famous drummers. He is incredible. But more than that, he also sings. He looks good. He's funny. None of us did drugs. None of us were alcoholics. None of us had tattoos. None of us had ever been arrested. We liked action figures and toys and comic books and Kiss, and it was perfect. Everyone thought he was like a cousin or a brother because it was just so perfect, and we were like, no. It just worked out, and that's how we met and started.
So how did you guys come about getting the recording deal for the first album?
There was no recording deal. First album was Splitty Cool Records, was my brother and I and our credit cards.
Oh, wow.
Actually, the first two records, believe it or not, the first two records were we paid for everything out of our pockets. That's how dedicated we were. And then the record label Riker Hill that we signed with picked up the second one and kind of like reimbursed us. So that's why that was reissued on Riker Hill. But then, we had the TV show, and then the label. The whole. You got to think of this was like when the economy crashed in 2008, 2009. Everything was going under, and the label went under, and so we actually had to fund the third one too. So in essence,
Oh, wow.
we pretty much paid for all our records. Yeah. So I always joke that we were on American Amex records. you know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. It's good. I will tell you though, speaking of record labels though, it is nice now to be with a label like Kivel, because it's just in a day and age where labels are almost like antiquated, you know what I mean? Unless you're a big, big artist and they get giving you a huge sum of money. What is even the point? But I will say, when you have a label like Kivel, they get it. You know what I mean? They've been around for like 25 years. They're boutique. They're very specific with who they sign. And at first, I was a little nervous, but once we kind of got talking, and I could see like John, the guy who runs it, he had the same vision as us with the packaging. Have you seen the packaging of the album?
Not yet.
Oh, dude, it would blow you away. It comes in this poly bag that has the
Hmm.
artwork all over it, has a sticker, a button. The paper's like an upgraded high quality paper, 16-page booklet. It's like, even if you don't care about the music, you just buy it as a collectible. It's a piece of art. And the fact that he went all out on that, and the fact that he was like, hey, let's do a video, hey, let's do this, let's do that. It's been really nice to be a part of that and to have that kind of support. So
Yeah, so now that you mentioned it, let's break into Begin Again. Tell me about the songs on the album. I see that you have a lot of songs throughout your whole career on there. Are those remakes, or are those just the regular tracks that are on your normal albums?
Yeah, no, those are the original tracks. It's basically like an anthology, almost like a box set, but not. It's not a box, a rectangle, a square set. It was the idea was an anthology that showcased our past and now it gives you a glimpse of the future. Because the thing is, we haven't been active for a while, right? It's been what I would say 13 years now, right? 13, 14 years. So it's been a long time. So anyone who a lot of people don't know who ZO2 was, so this is like a fresh introduction to the band for those people. They get to hear those songs and be like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. Then you have for the fans that are still fans and were fans, a lot of cool stuff that was never released, like the singles that we put out. There are 4 singles that were on Spotify only, but they were never put out on a physical
Mm.
product. Which, as a Kiss fan, like I don't, I see all your CDs back there. I assume it was 2 peas in the same pod. Like, when you like that kind of stuff, when you like packaging and collecting, you want that physical, you want that hard copy of the song. So this was a cool chance for them to get that and some unreleased stuff. And then for new fans, uh, well, the new and the old, you get the new song and you get a live track with Sean on it. So that's like there's the future. See what I mean? So that was
Mhm.
the idea. It was like, here's what we did. Here's some cool stuff we did, but we never put out, right? So now you have that, and here's where we're going. And we felt like that was like the idea of the double CD package.
Okay. Yeah, it's a great way of coming up with the idea for it. I really like it. So tell me about the song Begin Again. How did you arrive at all that in writing?
Well, truth be told, it is not a brand new song that we just wrote. It's a song that "Begin Again" and "Live Today," which are the two quote unquote new songs on the album or unreleased, were songs we had at the very end of ZO2 before we took our indefinite hiatus. We never actually broke up, as contrary to popular belief. I had to take what I call an indefinite hiatus because I we weren't breaking up, but I had a lot of stuff going on personally in my life, just a bunch of stuff in one year, really tough year. And then I had to restart and move. I moved to LA, and I needed a break. So that's why we paused it. And at the time, right before I did that, we had Begin Again and the song Live Today that we had played a few times and we were planning on releasing on a new, what would have been the next album. But that never happened. Begin Again, I actually wrote initially about my divorce, which was one of the things, one of the elements of my black cloud year. That destroyed me after everything that went on at that time, and then it ended with divorce. It was just heartbreaking for me. But I had to begin again. I moved to LA. I cut my hair, like a whole bunch of things that I did to kind of restart. And that's where the song started from. But then it was on the shelf when David was killed in 2017, and we decided to do this recently. Like, that song took on a different meaning for me. So the lyrics have been changed, and some of the melodies, the core of the song is the same melodically,
Hmm.
um, but I changed the words, and the whole meaning of the song changed completely. Because even though the begin again concept can apply to a divorce or a loss in the family or changing careers or anything, right?
Hmm.
The universal concept can apply to many things, but I needed it to be specific to David, and for so that Joey and I can connect on it together, and that also that it really had a meaning. If we are going to put it out, I wanted it to be about that, and so that's sort of the shift. So when you listen to the song and read the lyrics now, you'll understand what I mean. Where it's like, oh, okay, it's clearly now about that incident.
Gotcha. All right. So what's the next plan here? Are you still going to be doing more writing and try to come up with a new album? Is that the plan?
Yeah, yes, it is. As long as there are people hear us, our songs, we will continue doing them. I mean, now the door is open. Like, now there's no stopping us. You know what I mean? Pandora's box has been opened, and
Mhm.
now we are very excited especially about writing new material, because there's so many. Like any musician, we have our voice memos. I've got like a decade worth of ideas that I just had no place to really funnel them, because when I did my solo stuff, when I moved to LA, I put out an EP. It was very different. I was going for more of a commercial a songwriter uh, vibe to see if I could do that. So they weren't like the guitar riffs, and it wasn't ZO2. You know, it was totally different. It was more, it was Paulie Z as a songwriter. But still, I was writing all these riffs. You don't stop. Your brain doesn't stop writing ever. So now I'm excited to finally go back and start putting stuff together. And now that we have Sean,
Mhm.
he sings too and he writes, it's great. It'll be interesting to see what he brings to the table from an original standpoint. You know, because he came in, but Begin Again was he wrote his bass parts, but the song was already there. So I'm very excited to see what the three of us come up with. When I don't know, you know, when an album would be ready, but we're definitely starting to think about it and start writing and playing. I mean, that's the best part. We want to play out as much as we can, and um, you know, and connect to the crowd because that's what we do best. Have you ever been to a ZO2 show?
Oh yeah.
Yes. So you have you know what I'm talking about. We when I say we connect, you know. It's a love fest up there. So it's like there's nothing for like being on stage for us.
Okay. I was thinking it's been 20 years this year that you guys opened for Kiss and Poison. Isn't that hard to believe?
It is
That's
hard. You know what? Now that you say that, you're right. Now that you say that, I almost feel like we should do something like some sort of 20th anniversary shirt or show like you
oh,
know like do something in New York and LA. Like I didn't even think about that. That's right. This summer it's going to be
yeah.
20 years.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's like, wow, where did the time
That's
go? I still remember seeing you guys open that tour. And then, I seen you on some other shows too. And it just, yeah, it's been a long time. Can't wait.
that's
Hopefully you guys will get out this way soon again and we can catch up and see you.
where are
Obviously
you? Where are
Buffalo,
you looking? You're about, oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I remember what you probably saw. What was the name of that place?
Club Diablo.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cold up there. I
And
remember
then,
that.
and then you guys played at the Town Ballroom with Dream Theater.
Yes. Oh, were you at that show?
Yep.
Oh, yes. When Portnoy came out and played Rush with us. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, we'd love to do stuff like that too. Would be really cool if we can get some opening spots here and there. Because I don't think we're gonna. I doubt we would tour. You know, like properly, like when you know when you go, all these bands are out for months and months and months. I don't think we could do that. I mean, you know, Joey has kids. I have a 4-year-old and a 4-month-old actually. She turned 4 months yesterday. The one who was giggling before. So you know, doing major tours like that is probably not in the cards for us. But I think trying to get like festivals or doing short runs and cool stuff like that, you know,
Oh
opening
yeah,
for bands that would be great.
definitely understandable. So did you get to see the last Kiss shows?
I did. I was at both of them.
Okay. But what
You
was
didn't
your
ask me about. Please don't ask me about it.
Well, you could be you don't want to give your opinion on them, huh?
Oh, I do, but I know I feel like that's a whole nother show. That's like, do you
Oh,
have
oh,
3 hours?
okay.
I mean, I can give you my sort of express opinion. How about that?
Yeah,
Because I
give
would
us give
rather
us the
focus
quick.
more on ZO2 and other stuff, but I'll
Yeah.
give you the quick overview. All I can say is that, I mean, I agree with all the critique that's out there. I feel like, and you know, it's funny, Bruce Kulick actually, you know, is a good buddy of mine, and such a mensch. Like, he's such an awesome guy, right? And he gets along with everybody. And he said it perfectly in an interview that I read, where he said, you know, he felt like Kiss were thinking more about the future and new fans versus it was for them, it was the beginning, the launch of the next phase versus the closure for what they've done. And that was a beautiful way to put it because that made sense. It wasn't like, I don't think they purposely dropped the ball. You know what I mean? I know they love their fans. Otherwise, I wouldn't be a diehard fan. But I think they definitely dropped the ball. And I think they probably know it now that they're reading everything. They're probably like, uh-oh. But they were focused on what's coming, you know, younger fans, the future, the next chapter, whatever. And they didn't realize that this was for everyone else like us who grew up with them, this was closure. This was the series finale, not a season finale. There's a difference. You know, when you watch a series finale and you don't get that like in The Sopranos and everyone was like, what the hell? You it's so important to that closure is done properly to really, because otherwise you kind of jeopardize the whole experience if you don't get that ending. You know, if you read a book and the book ends like, what the hell is that? That's that's how I felt. Were the shows great? Yes, they were great shows. They were great, but they were like any other show. Like I didn't feel like that was the end of the road. I didn't feel like that was the final two shows. I paid a lot of money for those tickets. You know, I flew in, hotel. I mean, a lot of people, you know, it was a big
Yeah.
deal, and we didn't get what we wanted. That's all I can say. You know, and they,
Oh yeah.
you know, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can go into more detail, but I'm not.
No, 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 you're
But
fine.
I
You're
can pick
fine.
apart a lot of the things that also why we didn't get some other things. But that's my general overview, is that it wasn't, we didn't really get what we wanted in that sense. And they probably had their eye on something else.
All right. So speaking of eye on something else, why don't you give us a rundown on to close out everything here, like what current projects you're
Closure?
up to?
Do you want some closure? Shall I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So, well, so we're talking about ZO2. You know, the new CD, double CD, Begin Again, is out on Kivel Records. So I encourage people, if you don't have it yet, to go to the Kivel Records website and order it. Again, even if you don't have a CD player, I don't even have a CD player. Funny enough, but
Wow.
I still get CDs. You know, every once in a while if they're done well, if they're packaged well. Because to me, again, it's like art. You know, I know a lot of people still do. So either way, even if just to support the band and the label, um, I really believe that if you don't know the band, I think you will love it. It's melodic, it's groovy, you know, it's kick-ass rock and roll. And if you do love it, the band, you know, and you've been supporters of ours, you know, keep supporting us. It helps a lot, and we want you to have the collection. And there's some goodies in there for you. Other than ZO2, outside of ZO2, I've got a lot of stuff going on, so I'll try to go quickly. But the
Hmm.
big main thing that's dear to my heart is the David Z Foundation, which is the nonprofit organization that provides award-winning music programs for underprivileged kids around the world. I can say that now because we have just won our sixth award for the videos we've done with kids in Israel and Malaysia.
Nice.
We've been to South Africa, Argentina, Hong Kong, all over the United States, all in the name of my brother. You know, to bring,
Mhm.
you know, his memory, keep his memory alive, bring joy to these kids and music, and for my own self therapy. To be honest with you, know, this is the way I channel my all those heavy emotions that I had to go through, and I channel it through this. I also teach privately vocals and guitar. I still do preschool music. I'm the music teacher at my son's preschool. I do that a couple days a week just to stay grounded. I love that. And then I'm in out of seven tribute bands. I got a Queen tribute band called Bohemian Queen, which is killing it everywhere, just selling out everywhere we go. I'm very grateful for that. And it's fun playing Freddie and dressing up like him and doing all that stuff. I have a Zeppelin tribute band called Zepp LA, Deep Purple tribute band called Purplish. We are debuting a Journey tribute band called Separate Journeys this month, and a Chris Cornell tribute, and Alice in Chains tribute. And then my wife and I have an 80s show, an 80s tribute. Then I have my own solo stuff, and then I have my children's music as well. And to top it all off, and I'm sure I'm missing something, but to top it all off, I just got voted in as the president of the HOA for my complex that I live in. So just that, just the cherry on top of the mountain of stuff I have. Now I have to deal with that too.
Man, yeah, that's a lot to keep you busy, that's for sure.
Yes, but at least I can tell people can refer to me as Mr. President now. So for now, you have to refer to me as Mr. President. It's a lot, you know, and obviously being a husband, a father of two young kids, you know, a son, a brother, a friend, you know, this life is so full of all these different things we have to juggle. But I feel like when you love what you do, if you love it, you know, you make it work. You know, you find a way to make it work. And I'm very grateful that all those things I listed and more, there's other stuff that I probably haven't even didn't tell you, but they're all things I love. You know what I mean? I'm super
Mhm.
passionate about. One of the things I try to, and I think you've seen ZO2. I think that's the thing about like you can feel that. I feel like that love of what we do and that pure passion
Hmm.
oozes out of us when we perform. Whether it's in ZO2, whether it's in a Queen tribute, whether I'm doing the Wheels on the Bus for preschool kids, that passion is always going to be there. And that to see the people, to see you smile when we're talking on this podcast like that, that's everything for me. That's my purpose.
All right. Well, appreciate your time. Best of luck in all your things you got going on there. Definitely, you're definitely more busier. One of the busiest people I've ever come across for sure with all that's going on there. So, yeah.
Yeah,
So
no, I
thank you.
appreciate it. How was that? How was that for closure though? Did you like
Good.
that?
Yeah.
You see? Did you get what you came for?
Yeah. All right.